From Seattle, the 1990 Goodwill Games.
Tonight in Seattle, women's gymnastics. The Soviet Union and the United States battle for Goodwill gold. Svetlana Boginskaya, a member of the gold medal winning team in Seoul and the 1989 World Championship team in Stuttgart, is hoping to lead her team to another gold medal tonight.
This event happens but every 4 years. This will be my only chance to win a gold medal.
But the current U.S. national champion, Kim Zmeskal, is assured that she and her teammates will give the Soviets stiff competition.
If we came away with a medal, it would show the world that the United States is ready and they're ready to come back as a team and that our younger girls are getting stronger.
Can the Soviet gymnasts continue to dominate, or will the U.S. team pull an upset?
In battle. Those are the two countries that usually battle for the top spot. However, Romania is in upheaval right now. They've closed their national training center. They have only sent one gymnast. So it figures to be an American-Soviet battle. The Soviets are the best in the world, Larry. They're probably half a point to a point better than the Americans. But the Americans do have what you might call a home court advantage. Over half of the judges here are from the United States. They're very familiar with our gymnasts, and this is a very subjective and political sport. We are going to see two types of gymnasts here tonight. Two types of styles between the Soviets and Americans, and they are epitomized in the top two gymnasts here, Svetlana Boginskaya and Kim Zmeskal. Svetlana Boginskaya, the 17-year-old Minsk. From Minsk, Boginya means goddess in Russian, and she is indeed the goddess of gymnastics. 1989 world champion, 1989 and 90 European champion. Then Kim Zmeskal. Trained by Bella Karolyi, the 14-year-old placed a close second to Boginskaya at the Paris International earlier this year. She's the 1990 national champ. Boginskaya returned to the classic ballerina-type gymnast. She's elegant, dramatic, a maturity beyond the others, exuding beauty and grace that has been severely lacking in the sport. And Zmeskal, typical of Karolyi's gymnast, reminiscent of Mary Lou Retton. She's powerful and plays to the crowd and perky. Athleticism taking precedence there. She's also very courageous. She has been suffering from a sore Achilles here. She also has a problem in her wrist, but she says, Larry, that she doesn't think that will be too much of a problem in her competing tonight. I think to sum it all up, I think that assistant coach for the U.S., Stormy Eaton, said it best. For the Americans to beat the Soviets are going to have to fall off the balance beam.
Thanks, Hannah. By the way, Hannah, Nick
is the leader now. 104 total medals. They really cleaned up in the water. Swimming, the powerhouse, track and field. The Soviets are right behind with the bulk of their payload in track and field, gymnastics and rowing. The third-placed East Germans won 27 of their 36 medals in swimming. But 27 countries here at the Games have won at least one medal, including the Bahamas. Pauline Davis with a silver in the women's 200 meters of track.
In Seattle, gymnasium, you see all these young gymnasts. There is their coach, James Holmes, the head coach of the Karolyi gym. What, Jim, quickly, is the story behind this gymnasium? How did this all happen?
Just a lot of kids coming into the gym, wanting to train, a lot of preparation, intense environment, intense coaching, and that's what they're all here for. That's the idea behind the gym.
How did you latch onto it?
I met Bella 8 years ago at the university, and I was just a young fellow taking a beginning gymnastics class, and he saw intensity and motivation and desire, just like the young kids, and he kind of latched on to me.
Now, are these kids all from Houston, or they come from everywhere?
We have kids from everywhere. A lot of local Houston kids, kids from all over the country that have high hopes and high aspirations to become the best that they can be in this sport, and they've sought out the best gym that they can do that in. Thanks,
James. We'll be checking back with you, and we'll get the reaction of these kids as they watch their elders, if they can be called that, bring you the action tonight from the opening night of ladies gymnastics. We're going south now to the Tacoma Dome. It's about 35 miles from here. There they are, Jim Simpson and Kathy Johnson, for our coverage of gymnastics. James.
Larry, it's 1 week later, but the script has not changed. The Soviets are still the favorites, but something has happened here, Kathy, that people might say may hurt the team. It does not, but it certainly hurts the chances of Boginskaya, the world champion.
It certainly has. Svetlana Boginskaya fell from the uneven bars, and it's shocking to see any Soviet have a fall from the uneven bars, but to see a world champion of this magnitude, who's usually cool as a cucumber in competition, right here, off on a reverse heck, just very unusual. As I
Now,
said,
her three teammates did very well, so they are leading at the end of the first half of the first rotation. What does this do to Svetlana now?
Well, Svetlana probably will not qualify for the all-around finals because they only take 2 per country. It will be very difficult to beat out her teammates to qualify for the all-around.
And we're now in the midst of the second half of the first rotation, and the Americans are on the floor exercise. And you're looking now at Sandy Woolsey. She's 17 years old from Tempe, Arizona. 8th in the all-around in the World Championships. I said the floor exercise, and of course she's on the balance beam.
Sandy had a terrific year of competition this past year. Finished very high at the World Championships. She was 8th all around there. Her back has been bothering her a little bit this past week, though, and I've noticed in workout she's having a little bit of a tough time with it.
Injuries have been a problem for the American team, including Kim Semesko, who is to follow.
So far, she's moving fairly well. A little bit rough in spots. She had that one balance break right at the beginning. 2 back handsprings to her. Lay out back pike. Good landing on that. One difference you'll notice between the Soviets and Sandy is she doesn't really lock out her legs. She really needs to work on straighter legs, pointed toes, and really cleaning up every single movement. But she's really competing well here on this event. She's fulfilling all the requirements necessary. The full turn is one of the special requirements on the balance beam. She has more than enough difficulty. And here's her dismount. This is the toughest part of her routine. Round off, double back, pulls it around. Oh.
And they'll need everything they can get because the Soviets are off to a great start. And as we were going to say, but we had so little time, we had to go down to live action. Don't forget the Chinese here either tonight. They are very strong.
The Chinese are very consistent and they're very, very polished.
Much better than an underturn.
Again, they were 3rd at the World Championships. The Americans were 4th, and this is very unfortunate for Sandy. That's a front mounter. And here's the dismount. Just felt, I believe, that she didn't have enough rotation and had to pull it around more than she really needed to. Got her feet too far underneath her and had to sit down. Of course, that's 5/10 of a point. That's a fall.
Well, you've seen Sandy Woolsey fall. We've also seen Boginskaya, the world champion, fall.
Now, what that fall does is it puts a little bit of pressure on the remaining 2 gymnasts for the U.S. They really are in a must-hit situation. Amy Shear opened up first on the balance beam for the Americans. They scored a 9.725, a wonderful start for them. But this is going to drop them down just a little bit.
Great competition of athletes here from all over the world and a great group of people here. It is sold out for the next 3 nights. This is Kim Semesko, only 14 years old. She is the star. She's been bothered by bursitis and tendonitis, depending upon whether you're talking about her heel or you're talking about her ankle.
Pull that double around.
That's Stormy Eaton,
Pull it
Sandy
around.
Woolsey's
All you
coach.
got to do. Okay?
The Desert Devils
Don't
in
labor your run
Arizona.
at all. Blast it down that runway.
He's already talking
You'll be
about the
fine.
floor
You
exercise.
triple
They're
already.
looking ahead, and it's the best thing to do at this point. You cannot look behind you and think about a past error. You've just got to go on and hit everything else.
9.175 for Sandy Woolsey. Brought about by that landing which she did not stick, she fell. So now we go to Kim Semesko, all-around champion from the Nationals in Denver a little bit more than a month ago.
And up until yesterday at 5 o'clock, it was questionable whether she would compete or not. She has tendonitis in that left wrist. You can see that it's wrapped. And it is causing quite a bit of pain, but they say it's not going to cause any more damage working on it. It's a nice press to handstand. Now watch this position. Very nice reverse plunge position.
How good is young Kim? 2nd to Boginskaya in Paris.
Kim is very tough in competition, which is going to help her block out the pain that she might feel in that wrist. It was a difficult pass. Back handspring, 2 layout step outs. Nailed it. Solid. Off to a very good start. Moving quite well. Keep in mind that each team can drop 1 low score on each apparatus. So they are looking to drop that 9.175. And this performance is well on the way to doing just that. Back handspring, layout step out, down to one knee, showing a little originality. Preparing for the dismount, looking for the stick, round off, double back. Perfect landing. You can't do it any better than that. Most people would say it's a disadvantage to start on the balance beam, but when you do a routine like that, it's an advantage. You get it out of the way, and you put a little pressure on the other teams that have to follow.
Great job, hon.
This is a young lady that simply came to Caroli's gym as a youngster, not from out of town, but from Houston, and here she is with a near-perfect routine on the balance beam to start in international competition.
Here's that mount. It's a press to handstand, and she lowers down to what is called a reverse planche position. Takes a lot of strength and combined with balance. Very nice.
What a contrast in beginnings, Kathy. Bogunskaya falls on the unevens. The world champion, and Kim, who was second to her, has this routine that's, well, I don't know what the judges give her, but looks nearly perfect.
A very difficult pass. The two layout step outs in a row.
990.
All right. And this dismount helped just that. Not a budge on that landing.
990 for 14-year-old Kim Zmeskal of Houston, Texas. The team competition in the women's gymnastics has begun, and you haven't seen the last of it yet. At the end of the first rotation, the United States in 6th, the Soviet Union as expected in 1st. But remember what Kim Zmeskal did. One of Bela Karolyi's performers. 990, and she was followed by Betty Okino, who also turned in an outstanding performance.
Fortunately, since all the Americans, except for one, hit on balance beam, they'll be able to drop that one low score.
I believe that way, yeah.
Now remember what Kim Zmeskal did. She really helped her team. And to follow was Betty Okino out of Elmhurst, Illinois, just 15 years old. And this is what she did.
Betty is absolutely beautiful on the balance beam. Nice long lines, really shows off the long legs, shows off the flexibility.
She's the anchor in this rotation. She finished first on the beam in our national championships.
Fulfilling one of the requirements right off the bat. It's an acrobatic element right into a dance element. The front walkover into the Sisson jump. Very critical pass. Back handspring, two layout step outs. Solid as a rock. It's her leap combination or gymnastic series requirement. Watch this turn. A double turn. So difficult on the balance beam. Very, very risky. Of course, that earns bonus points for her. Showing a nice plunge. Very solid work. This is her dismount pass. Two back handsprings to a double back and one step on the landing. The only deduction in the routine was really that one step.
And she followed up Kim Zmeskal with a 990 with, for Betty Okino, a 990. This is a very difficult event on which to start, and the Americans, Kathy, have done extremely well.
They have done extremely well. After this one event, the United States is up by .088. It's not much of a lead, but any lead at this point is fantastic. Here's that double turn. Very difficult. You can see her spot the end of the beam between each turn. It's a nice handstand. Arches over to a move made popular by Christy Phillips many years ago, also a gymnast of Bela Karolyi, and then goes right into the planche and down to straddle splits. She had a little bit of trouble sometimes in the landing in the warm-ups, but look at this. Pulls it right around, and just the one step on the landing. The only deduction of the routine, therefore 9.9.
The first rotation, USA 29.525. The favored Soviet Union 29.437. 0.088 the difference in score to Larry King.
Thanks, Jim. When we come back, we're going to have an extraordinary time with two people who left their mark on Olympics past. Nadia and Olga. That's all I got to tell you. We'll be right back. Full gymnastics could be. And at the 1976 Olympics, Nadia Comaneci showed how it's possible to do something perfectly. And tonight we're pleased to have each of them with us here on our inaugural night of women's gymnastics at the Goodwill Games. On my left is Nadia Comaneci. Nadia can speak and understand English pretty good. Olga Korbut will have an interpreter. First, right off the top, what did you think of Kim's performance?
I think that she did no mistake. I gave her 9.95.
You gave her better than the judges?
Yes.
Is that one of the more difficult aspects of gymnastic competition, the bar?
For me it was, and I think for all the gymnasts are the most difficult.
Why?
Because you must work more at the beam.
Was the bar harder for you, Olga?
Ну, брусья мой любимый снаряд. Но вообще, правильно Надя сказала, что бревно – это коварный снаряд.
Bars are much harder for me, but Nadia is absolutely right. Beam is a very difficult element to perform.
Как у мальчиков конь, махи, так у нас бревно.
Vault for the men, and of course the beam for the women.
This is for both. We'll start with you, Olga. Do you miss competing?
Вы скучаете, вы соскучились по представлениям?
Ну, в прошлом году я выступала на вольных. Я соскучилась скорее не по снарядам, а по зрителям.
Last year I had a chance to perform in an exhibit, but I missed the audience greatly.
The audience?
Yes.
More than the competition?
Да, я больше люблю не соревнования, а показательное выступление, потому что не боишься, что упадешь,
не боишься. I enjoy the performance a lot more than the competition because you're not afraid of falling in mistakes.
Do you miss it?
I miss very much. I start to train again, but all the time when I am in the competition, watch the competition, I so emotional because I feel that I like to do again, but I realize that I am too old for this now.
Also, when you watch them, do you want them to do well?
Yes.
You root for them?
Yes.
No matter what country?
No matter.
Do you root for them too? Do you want all of them to do well?
Я почему-то всегда болею за слабейших.
Somehow I always root for the weakest.
Ну, а здесь...
The underdog.
Самых последних, да?
Ну, не самых последних, но мне почему-то всегда очень не жалко, обидно, когда гимнаст падает.
I always feel so bad for the ones that fall or make a big mistake.
Потому что я уверена, что он на тренировках делал безукоризненно.
Because I know for sure that they must have performed beautifully, just not at the competition.
What is the rule when you fall, Nadia? I mean, you got to get right up, right, and act like you didn't. But you know you did.
I felt at the Olympic Games in 1980 at the bars. It's very hard because you work too much for a competition, and you can lose all the thing in 1 second.
But you can't put it out of your mind. You have to get up and finish, right?
Yes, but it's very hard. You must be a very strong person to compete and to finish the competition.
Emotionally strong.
Yes.
Yeah. Was it tough for you, Olga, on those rare times when you would fall?
Я чувствовала какую-то обиду и то, что я не выполнила то пожелание зрителей, которые за меня болели.
I felt very bitter, and I also felt that I didn't fulfill my promise to the audience.
You understand Russian?
No.
Because you were smiling like you understood.
Little bit, she little bit understand.
All right, because you two were pretty tough competitors against each other, right?
I understand all the thing.
You competed against each other in '76, right?
In 1976, Olympic Games in Montreal.
That's right, that's when, all right. Some personal things regarding your countries. Are you sorry you left?
So I wanted to be free. That's why I left Romania, and now I'm happy because the Romanians are free.
Your former coach was here last night. He said he would not want to go back. Would you want to go back?
I will go back to visit, but I will not go back to stay.
Olga, what about the Soviet Union's team that we're going to see here tonight?
Ну, я думаю, что, как всегда, команда Советского Союза большое внимание уделяет подготовке.
Soviet team always spends a lot of time on a proper preparation.
Ну и хочу пожелать самого большого успехов, победе.
I'd like to wish everyone success and victory, of course.
They, she is saying, you are saying the Soviet Union definitely will be prepared.
Советская команда точно будет готова.
Ну, значит, она победит. Победит сильнейший всегда.
Yes, they will be prepared, and I know that the strongest will win.
Romania only has one person here, right?
Yes, one gymnast. Yesterday when I came here, I knew that from Romania came just one gymnast. I'm not disappointed because after all the things that happened in Romania, the most important thing was the freedom. And they have freedom now, and they can prepare for all the competition.
How good or how important to you was Karoli?
Was very important for me. We were friends, and every time when I met him, I'm so emotional. I don't know, but I feel something inside.
What percentage would you say the coach counts of an athlete, given a very good gymnast with a fair coach, an average gymnast with a great coach? Who do better?
I think it's 50-50.
50-50?
Yes.
Would you agree with that? The coach is 50%?
Я считаю, как и собака, то есть похожа на своего хозяина, так и большой успех зависит от того, как будут сочетаться мысли.
Yes, undoubtedly. Coach and an athlete have to agree, have to have similar pattern of thoughts.
Is the coach important tonight, right now, right before you perform?
It's important because sometimes you don't have the chance to speak with the coach because you think your exercise, but you need the coach eyes because you can understand eyes to eyes.
Is he talking to you while you're performing?
Yes, I knew all the time.
Did your coach talk to you while you were performing?
Я никогда не выступала, чтобы тренер был рядом. Всегда выступала с другим
Unfortunately, I
тренером.
didn't have a chance to perform with my coach side by side.
Но я всегда искала глаза
But I
тренера.
always searched for his eyes.
Он всегда был как турист.
I always knew that he's out there.
We'll come right back. We're going to have more, by the way, with Nadia Comaneci and Olga Korbut. They'll be with us through the women's gymnastics. Hey, if you're going to get two experts, you could do a lot worse than this. And speaking of broadcasting it, you could do a lot worse than our man on the scene, Jim Simpson. Jim?
Thank you, Larry. Back at the Tacoma Dome, we're in the second rotation. The Americans are on the floor exercise, and the very challenging Chinese are on the unevens. Here is the second rotation within the rotation. Remember, that is not what they were at the end of the first rotation. At the end of the first rotation, the United States had that .088 difference over the USSR, and Spain was third. Zhang Shaya will be the first that we will see on the unevens for the Chinese. Amy Scher has already gone for the Americans in the floor exercise. Came with a 9.550. And this is the young 15-year-old from Shandong Province, Zhang Shaya.
And the Chinese placing in fourth after the first event is not indicative of their talent. That is a fairly weak event for them. This, however, is one of their strongest events.
And she is the strongest of the Chinese. She won the China Cup on this event, this uneven bar apparatus.
They have such beautiful lines on this event. Good swing, perfect form always. Watch the free swing. Nice high ginger. It's a back somersault with a half twist to regrasp the bar. Giant swing with a half turn. To a front giant, very well done, to a beautiful high Jaeger. The judges are really looking for extra amplitude on those release moves. Giant with a full pirouette. Into the dismount. A nice high tuck double back. It's not one of the most difficult dismounts being done in the competition, but they do their dismounts level with the high bar.
That's what we said. Watch out for the Chinese young team. 15-year-old Zhang Chaya.
This is a great angle. You can really see the velocity on this swing. Look at the height above the bar. And perfect positioning for the regrasp. You can also see how far those bars are separated. It's a long jump from the low bar up to the high bar. Here comes the last giant with a full pirouette. She does a preparation giant right into a tuck double back dismount. You can see she finishes it at the level of the high bar. Very nicely done.
Nice smile, and why not? A 9.912.
They are really going to make a move on this event if the following two gymnasts hit their routines.
Well, the name you see there is correct. It is Lee. Her last name is Lee. Her first name is Lee. 15 years old. And like all the rest of them, very short. 4'7½". They're very young people, 68 pounds. And in an international event, she was first in this event this year.
Beautiful straight front giant. Giant reverse heck going the other way on the high bar. Watch this move. First time I've ever seen it. A German giant into a reverse heck. Very original and very difficult. And another high tuck double back dismount.
What a tremendous dismount. The Chinese are going to be in the top 3 for sure after this particular event. It is their best event, the uneven parallel bars.
Beautiful amplitude in that routine, and that one unique move in the middle of the routine, I'm sure, will probably bear the name Lili after this. Look at the nice body position. The reverse heck going the other direction, not as common. Now she sets up for this move, and this is unusual. A German giant, and right back over the bar to the reverse heck.
The officials, Kathy, are in dismay also with that great performance. They've not yet posted her score. Lee, 15 years old. The Chinese men's team was a bunch of juniors who did rather well here, but the Chinese women, also youngsters, and stars of the future, are doing very well, at least in this apparatus. The uneven parallel bars, here comes her score, 9.925 for Li of China. So with that in mind, here come the Chinese. They started out the second rotation in 4th place. We're sure they'll move up, and we'll come back. Now to Larry King.
Thanks, Jake. A break. Their thoughts on the young Chinese. Nadia, the Chinese look 11 years old. 10 years. This is a young team.
Yes, it's a young team. They changed. This is other generation, a young generation.
Now, is this young lady impressing you?
The Chinese was all the time very good on the bars, and she did a very good routine. Very difficult.
This is not then, in other words, their performance on the bars is not surprising you.
No, I knew that the Chinese are very good, but...
Okay. Olga, you like this performance too?
Да, мне очень нравится, вот, потому что включены, во-первых, новые элементы.
Yes, I really like it. These elements are new.
Я еще обратила внимание на китайских гимнастов на чемпионате мира, который проходил в Москве.
I even noticed Chinese team back in Moscow.
They're good.
Я думаю, и еще мне нравятся китайские гимнастки, потому что они работают очень чисто.
I like Chinese gymnasts because they work very hard at perfecting every element.
The United States and Brazil are going to play later tonight in men's basketball. The winner will go to the gold medal game, and you'll see that game right here. And we'll be back right after this break with more ladies gymnastics. Really interesting that you wished you were there. You'd like to be there to help the Soviet team. Would you elaborate a little?
Богинская из моего города, из Минска.
You want to be a
И
coach?
она упала, и мне бы хотелось на месте быть сейчас с ней рядом и помочь ей.
Our Soviet girl, Miss Baginskaya, fell down, and I feel so sorry for her. I really wish I was there to cheer her on and to tell her she can do it.
Would you like to coach?
Yes, I coach in Romania, the juniors team.
You do?
Yes.
Did?
Yes.
Would you like to coach in the United
Yes,
States?
I like very much to coach wherever I will be.
Where are you living now?
I live in Canada.
Montreal?
Yes, that's the
And-
place where I won my gold medal.
And your home is?
Белоруссия, Минск.
In Minsk?
Yes.
My mother was from Minsk.
Oh.
We'll be back with Nadia and Olga, but right now back to the Tacoma Dome and Jim Simpson.
All right, Larry, let us call out all of the cliches. A gamer, someone who has to play when hurt. We told you about Kim Zemesko. As you take a look at the standings at the end of the first rotation, we're in the second. We told you about her tendonitis. We told you about her bursitis. She got a 9.90 on the beam. And watched moments ago as she took the floor for the floor exercise. Talk about a gamer. All out the cliches because she deserves them all, Kathy.
This was about the best floor routine I've ever seen Kim do. She's a very, very powerful tumbling. You'll see it right here. Opens with a full twisting double back in piked position. Very European type music. Perfect double turn. These are all the tiny little things that the judges are looking at. You don't want to give away any deductions. 3 whip backs right through to a double back and a perfect landing. The routine really picks up here. She has a lot of energy. She's set up for her final tumbling run. Take a look at this landing. Again, right on the button.
And for that, she got a 9.937, bettering her mark, which we thought was incredible, on the balance beam. And you look ahead to tomorrow's all-around. But in the team standings with the second half of the second rotation yet to go, the USA holding on to a slight lead over China. The Soviets yet to compete in this rotation. Kim Zemesko.
What is really important in this competition, the team competition, is that the United States is really doing very well. They had 4 excellent floor routines, all scoring 9.8s or 9.9s. That was really the only deduction in the whole routine. Slightly large step after that first tumbling run. It's a really nice tumbling run.
If you didn't know the name before, there she is, Kim Zemesko of Houston, Texas. And let's join one of our anchors of the IBC that has come out here to Tacoma with us. And let's go to Hannah Storm in our own building, Hannah.
Well, Kim Zemesko told us, Jim, that the floor exercise is her favorite, and I think you can see why. She was absolutely terrific, has been the USA's most solid performer to date. Sandy Woolsey, also a solid performance on the floor. She rebounded from her fall off the dismount when she was on the bars, when she was on the balance beam. And Betty Aquino is an interesting story. She's displayed great grace. She has beautiful body lines. She's been absolutely terrific in what is really her international debut. So solid performance all around from the U.S. gymnast. And assistant coach Storm Eaton has just told me the American ladies have the vault coming up. That could be their strongest apparatus overall. They are all doing the same vault. Jim?
All right, Anna, and we will tell you that Oksana Chusovinita of the Soviet Union, the first on the beam for the Soviet Union, fell. So this story is not over yet. We'll come back in a moment. As we left you, we told you that Oksana Chusovinita fell for the Soviet Union on the balance beam, and let's go back in time to see the Soviets with more problems.
It was on a round-off layout step out. She's fairly new to the Soviet team, and I think just showing a little immaturity, lack of experience. But more importantly, this is a critical situation now the Soviet Union finds themselves in. Very much a pressure situation. In order to catch the United States, to tie with them at this point, they would have to average a 9.916
Kathy,
on this
when
event.
was the last time the Soviets trailed in a team competition? Are you aware of any time?
I only know of one time they ever lost a major championship, and it was to Romania. And it's very unusual for them to not have the lead throughout an entire competition.
That, as I recall, was in 1987. And Romania is in disarray, as we said, as they came on the air because, well, they're closing down a lot of training centers. Financially, they couldn't send the whole team. But there's Chuso Vitana, 15 years old, from Tashkent, and she fell and got that 9.337.
Very unfortunate, as I said, for the Soviet Union. They had a fall on the uneven bars. Of course, they were able to drop that score. Now they're looking to drop this score, and not only drop it, but score 9 nines from here on out, which is not impossible for this team, by the way.
Not impossible for them, but there's added pressure because they've seldom, well, this team has never been in that situation, these youngsters.
This is a tough event to have added pressure to. Here's where the problem was. The roundup was off to the side. And you could just see a little bit of lack of aggressiveness for that landing.
United States, this is after one rotation. Remember, China is moving up. Soviet Union, as Kathy said, has to average a 9.90 to catch up. Tatiana Lysenko has just completed her work on the balance beam with a 9.887.
Close, but not quite there. They need 9.95s and 10s.
And this is Natalia Kalinina, a person down in the Ukraine. She is 16 years old. This is not her best event. But like all Soviets, she's an all-around performer.
Well, if it's not her best event, I'm sure there's a lot of gymnasts here that
would like to be as good.
Exactly.
In the Soviet Nationals last year, she was first in the all-around. So she's an all-around great performer.
Beautiful full twisting back handspring to a swing down. Very difficult move. It's becoming much more common. She has a nice combination of elegance in her dance and explosiveness in the tumbling and acrobatic elements. Beautiful combination, and that's a required series combining dance and acrobatics. Switch leg lead right into a back roll extension.
This year she was second in the American Cup in the all-around, second the kid was Zamesco.
True back handspring to a layout step out. Now that's the type of landing I was talking about when Chusovitna just wasn't as aggressive as Kalinina was on that landing. It comes with experience. Very nice work, and look at that shot. A full twisting double back dismount with a perfect landing. Not only is that a very difficult dismount off the balance beam, but to do it that well and then stick the landing is incredible.
Natalia Kalinina, a person in the Ukraine. And Natalia is going to keep the Soviets in contention. Don't count them out yet.
You can never count them out. Again, that's a full twisting back handspring to a swing down. And I've said it before, and I mean it, I would hate to have to train that every day in the gym. Very nice pass. Watch the aggressiveness on this landing. Some gymnasts might have been a little bit off here. She checked it quickly and went right to position. This is superb. Full twisting double back, pulls it right around.
Judges thought so also, Kathy. 9.90 for Natalia Kalinina in the balance beam. And here is the world champion who fell on the uneven, Svetlana Boginskaya.
Not only is she the all-around world champion, two-time European champion as well. Really the queen of gymnastics at this point.
And such is the nature of the women's gymnastics at age 17. Svetlana says she may be too old by the time Barcelona and the Olympic Games roll around in 2 years.
I would love to be that old again. Very nice work so far. She also is very aggressive on this event. Very sharp movements. Interesting choreography. One of the requirements is that the gymnast must do some element down low to the beam. So of course she was fulfilling that requirement. Gainer, layout, step out. She has an interesting landing on all of her elements, very different from most gymnasts.
If she comes up with a 9.962, the Soviets would move into a tie with USA.
Well, she has the reputation and the routine to do just that, but she has got to make no mistakes. Double back. Look at that landing. That is experience.
Under pressure.
That is a seasoned veteran. She knows how to come back. Very rarely makes a mistake. That's one of the trademarks of Boginskaya, is that she is so consistent, and that's why she's world champion.
Well, to alert Larry King that he said that his parents were from Minsk. Well, Svetlana is from Minsk also.
Nice front tuck mount right into a double stag jump. Here's her critical pass on the balance beam. A tumbling pass, back handspring, layout, step out, right to another back handspring. And as I said, she lands a little bit differently than most gymnasts, with a straight leg and leaning slightly forward, but it works for her. And you know exactly what's going through this world champion's mind. She must stick the dismount, and she does just that. Drops it right in.
And you know what? She has put the USA behind the USSR with her 9.937. Check that with a 9.937. USA stays in the lead, but barely. Let us go on to Larry King again.
Thanks, Jim. Wow. What an event. And by the way, just to so she gets some credit, Vika Farahan is doing our interpreting tonight. She's an American formerly of the Soviet Union, and she's from Pinsk, where my late father was from Pinsk. My mother was from Minsk. That takes care of all the Minsks and Pinsks. What did you think, Nadia, of Svetlana's performance?
I knew Svetlana Boginskaya before. She's a great gymnast, and she's still the best in the world. I think.
Right now the best.
Yes.
Also,
and she's so sure in all the things that she's
Jim Simpson
doing.
said at 17, she's 17 now, she might be old for Barcelona at 19. What do you think of that?
In 1992, gymnastics is a sport you start earlier and finish earlier. And I think if she feels she's so old,
If you feel old, you're old.
Yes.
That's right. If you feel old, you're old. All right. What did you think, Olga, of her performance?
Здесь судьи поскупились, я бы поставила 10.
I think she deserves
Она
a 10.
действительно
She really did a
великолепная
remarkable job.
гимнастка. И
It's
я
marvelous.
очень сожалею, если мы ее не увидим в 92 году.
And I will feel really sorry if she won't make it till 1992 as a gymnast.
Вот надо собираться и ехать, вот какие у нас прекрасные девочки.
Something's wrong, right?
See, Larry, you and I should go to Minsk since we have such beautiful girls there.
Olga, come here. Come here, Olga. We go to Minsk.
Yes.
The quiet night. I'm getting carried away here, Olga. I want to make a comment. The Soviet uniforms are beautiful. You mentioned they make you look slim.
Они худят, да?
Да, мне не верят, я всегда говорю, что черный и
I
белый
always said
цвет
that
худеет.
black and white looks great, and now finally they believed me.
И это мой самый любимый цвет.
It's my favorite color, you can see.
Yes, black and white.
Yeah.
I like the uniforms mean anything? Does it matter what you're wearing?
Имеет ли значение, что в чем вы одеты?
Конечно.
Yes.
It does.
Гимнастки
matters
себя
a
чувствуют, если они сами себе
A gymnast
нравятся,
feels herself better, she feels herself more beautiful.
если это
The
удобно.
better she is.
It has to be comfortable, it has to be attractive.
Do you agree?
Yes.
In other words, if they give you a drab looking like a yucky uniform,
No.
you'll perform worse.
No, I think that it's very important, the uniform for the gymnast.
In other words, the better you feel, the better you perform.
Yes.
I want to even this up, can I? This is a good job. When we come back, more ladies gymnastics. I'm Larry King with Hannah Storm and Nick Charles at the 1990 Goodwill Games. Don't go away.
I think I sound like Hannah, Larry. We'll get to her in a moment, but take a look at the scores after 2 of the 4 rotations. By .025, the Soviets trailed the United States. China is in this, and it is the United States leading after 2 rotations over the heavily favored Soviet Union with 2 more rotations to go. And now let us rotate down to the floor and Hannah Storm.
Thanks, and typical of Bella Caroli's gymnasts of the USA team tonight, they're consistent, they're well prepared, and they are unafraid. Bella Caroli, perhaps the world's best-known gymnastics coach, has made his mark on 2 continents, Romania and the United States. Bella Caroli defected to this country in 1981 when his Romanian team was on tour here. We see Bella on the sidelines, the scowls, the smiles, those big bear hugs. But what we don't see is Bella's other side. He's perhaps the only Romanian cowboy in Texas.
I start my day at 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock when I'm preparing the gym, preparing ready for workout, 7 o'clock workout almost every day. Then I'm leaving and I'm going out to the range. When I have, you know, the other side of my life. That's the one what keeps me probably going. The ranch is totally different than my profession. And the opposite activities, the totally different activities, I believe, you know, is a great, giving me a great balance, balancing out my interest, balancing out the effort, the mental concentration, everything which is involved in both sides. Ranching is not easy. Working with the animals, creating and making a living out of it is really, I promise, it's not easy.
Strong. All right.
Afternoon is, again, gymnastic coaching is not easy either. You need a lot of concentration, a lot of planning, on everyday control, minute by minute control. And I believe one without other, actually for me, won't work as well like in the combination how I'm doing.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
After 8 years, finally, the long expected moment came. One of the senators from Texas handed out the diploma, and all 3 of us begged hard and been declared U.S. citizens, which was a very, very rewarding moment. That was something what always gonna stick with me. I consider myself a happy person and a lucky person at the time. I do 2 things or 3 things in my life and all I love. I love my profession, I love ranching, and I love hunting. And I love my family too. And now when everything comes together, and I still have an opportunity to do all 4 or 5 of them, I think, you know, that's the greatest thing what you can ever expect, or the greatest wish what any human person can have, guaranteeing the happiness and fulfilling the so-called lucky status.
We have just seen the very gentle side of a Bella Caroli. There is another side in the gym. He is undoubtedly very strict. He is also very stern. He demands perfection. Not everybody agrees with his coaching method, but everybody agrees on one thing, and that is that Bella Caroli has taught us all how to work harder. And you see the results here tonight, Larry.
Thank you, Hannah. We're going to go back out to Houston, and this is the site, gym, and we're going to speak with young Hillary. What's your last name, Hillary?
Grivich?
Hi, Hillary. You're a close friend of Kim Zamaskal's, right?
Yeah.
Okay, how's she doing so far?
She's doing really well. A couple of days ago, she discovered she had tendonitis in her wrist, and she wasn't sure if she was going to compete, but she's just blocking out the pain. She's doing really well.
And I've got Nadia sitting here. I've got Olga. I've got Hillary. How old is Hillary?
13.
13. Are you going to be on our next team? You'll be 15. You'll be ready to compete internationally.
Yeah.
Is that what you want?
Yes.
Why, Hillary? Why'd you take this up?
When I was 3, my mom started teaching a little Tiny Tots class in a gym, and I wanted to go. And then when I was 7, I came to Bella Caroli's camps in Houston, and I thought it was just great, and so I just kept going from there.
Are you a Houstonian?
Yeah, I was born and raised in Houston.
What do you like most about it?
It's sunny most of the time. Doesn't
No, I mean, what do you
get very
like
cold.
most about gymnastics?
Oh.
I can see where you took that as Houston, but I'm into Minsk and Pinsk. I got enough with Houston. Okay. No, why do you like gymnastics so much?
It's a challenge and it's a lot of fun.
What are you best at?
Probably beam.
And what's the hardest?
My hardest is bars. Bars is the hardest for me.
And how good a coach is Bella?
He's really good.
Is
He's
he
the
easy or tough?
He's tough.
How often do you go to class?
Every day. Well, 6 days a week. Twice a day.
Wow. Hillary, good luck to you. We'll be following your career.
Thanks.
And we'll pass your best wishes along to Kim. And we'll be back with lots more gymnastics and men's basketball. The National Broadcast Center, I'm Larry King. To my left is the great Olympian Nadia Comaneci. To my right, the great Olympian Olga Korbut. It's opening night of ladies gymnastics. Quick score, Yugoslavia and the Soviet Union. Yugoslavia in basketball, 71. The Soviet Union, 68. About 5 minutes to play. 3-point lead for the Yugoslavs. The winner plays the United States-Brazil winner for the gold medal Sunday. You'll see the United States-Brazil game coming up. Right back out to the Tacoma Dome and Jim Simpson. Jim?
All right, Larry, the Soviet Union still trying to catch the Americans, with the Americans yet to go in the second half of this, the third rotation. And let's go back in time for just a moment to Natalia Kalinina, 16 years old, out of the Ukraine, and this is her performance on the floor exercises. Kathy Johnson will be quick to tell you the Soviets are simply superb in this event.
They are exquisite in this event. They not only have the dance, the tumbling, they have everything for this event. And they combine it beautifully. A double layout with a perfect landing. Look at the expression and the choreography. They truly strive for perfection. They do all the difficult elements and make them picture perfect. For her middle tumbling run, she performed a full twisting double back into a back handspring, straddle jump, tumbles back the other direction to a layout step out. Many of the gymnasts here do the full twisting double back as their opening pass. They do everyone else's difficulty and more in the same routine. And if I sound like I'm a fan of the Soviet floor routines, I am. It's just beautiful. Another full twisting double back. Drops it right in with a perfect landing again. What more can you say? It's just gorgeous.
She had a 9.887, besting her teammate Lysenko at a 9.875, but Boganskaya followed with a 9.925. So the Soviets have come on strong in this, their great event, the floor exercise. And again, to Kalinina. Italian, great performance.
It's hard to believe that someone with such grace and poise can tumble like this as well. Nice high double layout. One of the more difficult passes being done. This is a very exciting pass. She goes through to a full twisting double back and tumbles right out of it. And ends again with a very difficult final tumbling run, a full in, and does it perfectly.
The Soviets have completed their third rotation. The Americans will be on the vault next up. At the end of two, the United States was leading, and they've got to do some work on the vault to stay that way.
You can see right over here just the hundreds, some of the hundreds of little girls that work out with Bella Caroli at his gym in Houston. Bella Caroli also has 3 of the 4 gymnasts representing the USA tonight. Among them, Kim Zumeskel, only 14 years old. She spent half her life at Bella Caroli's gym there. And the huge hopes of the United States gymnastics program rest in that tiny little 70-pound body. Now let's hear the journey from the girl that Bella Caroli says is a sleeping cat with a tiger soul.
My journey to the Goodwill Games began here in Houston at Caroli's gym. only I started before Bella was even here. I started gymnastics when I was 6, and Bella came about a year later. I was in the original Hope group. It was a group which Bella and Marta selected after, looking at all the girls at about the age of 7 or 8. I'm not an average teenager. I'm 4'5" and 71 pounds. Like when I first came to school, they were like, "Are you sure she's in what grade you said she was in? She looks like she's in 2nd grade." I'm used to it now. I want to be tall enough to be able to wear, like kind of clothes that I want to. I have a hard time shopping.
I think this is not too bad.
I think they're supposed to be short.
Oh yeah, I know.
In gymnastics, being small helps a lot, with a smaller body to carry around, it makes tricks a lot easier. Right now, I'm looking forward to competing at the Goodwill Games and the next year's World Championships, and then the Olympics in '92. After '92, I'd like to be a normal teenager.
One almost forgets that these national and world champions are just teenagers. Svetlana Boginskaya still plays with dolls. That makes their courage, consistency, and cool all the more amazing. Jim?
All right, Hannah. The United States trying to upset the Soviet Union. They will now need, for their 3 vaults, 29.662 total, which would average 9.887 to tie the USSR. Amy Shearer will be first up. And it looks as though, Kathy, it may come down, they'll take the better of the 2 vaults, may come down to how well the Americans do on the uneven parallel bars to decide this whole thing tonight. But at the moment, the Americans are on the vault, and Amy Shearer, another Karolyi's students, is up.
This is a good event for the Americans. They all have strong vaults. Yurchenko with a full twist and a stuck landing. That's what it's going to come down to. They've got to stick these landings because they cannot afford to give away a 10th or 2/10 on landings.
Now remember, if she likes the second one better, she can take that, one of the 2.
This is actually an advantage to stick your first vault, because if you come back and even just do an equal vault and still stick the landing, chances are the score tends to go up a little bit. Nice height, nice open position in the air, and of course a good landing.
Awaiting her second vault. Amy is out of Cincinnati, of course, trains in Houston, as we said, and should get along with Bella just fine because she's very fond of animals and has a lot of her own pets. If you saw Bella's ranch down there feeding a deer, goats, getting his eggs from his hens, and this is what he loves. Gymnastics, and his team is in contention to upset the Soviet Union. 9.825 on the first for Amy.
Amy is a very intense competitor. She's a great kid. If you start talking to her, she breaks into a big smile. Very, very friendly, but when she is on the floor, she is tough and she concentrates to the fullest extent of her ability, and it really shows in her performance. To improve on this vault. Better on the horse. It was actually a better vault. Of course, there was a hop on the landing, but she got better position on the horse on this second vault and was able to push a little bit harder.
How do the judges reconcile themselves to that? Do they go for the better position on the vault, or do they go for the landing?
It's hard to say. It will probably balance itself out. We'll see if she gets any more height on the vault. It was almost equal to the other one. So I would guess that the other one will score a little bit better. The vault goes so quickly. The judges don't have what we have, instant replay and slow motion. We can look at it over and over again to see the deductions and see what is good about the vault.
But she knows she already has a 9.87, or rather 9.825 in the bank as she waits the second. There's something Bella Karolyi does all the time. If you watch gymnastics, he's a constant pacer, trying to look at the scores, trying to keep his young women settled down. Here comes the score, 9.8. 9.37. So it is better.
They thought it was a little bit better. I thought the vault was better. It just all depends on what the judges, because they sit at a different angle. They're down below the level of the floor.
Betty Okino, surprisingly good performer.
Another Yurchenko with a full twist, little step on the landing. Of course, that's what she will try and correct on her second vault. It was a very nice vault in the air. Good twist, good position. You'll see she's right on top of the horse, right where she wants to be. She might want to try and get a little bit more rotation off the horse and into the twist. She kind of twists a little bit early here.
She had that 9.9 on the balance beam.
You'll see several of the gymnasts do this vault. When Kim Zmeskal comes up, you'll see she opens up out of the twist and flares, makes the landing a little bit easier to stick.
Now these are the standings, remember, after the second rotation. 9.80 for Betty on her first vault, and here's her second.
Oh,
almost.
Of course, a step forward. Again, almost the same vault this time. She was trying to stick. She was making the correction. She had over-rotated the first one a little bit and stepped back, so she tried for the stick and had to step forward.
Now, as we see the 9.837 by Amy on her first, and Betty had a 9.80 on her first. Remember, the American women have to average 9.887 to tie the USSR after 3 rotations.
One thing you have to say about this American team, they're fairly inexperienced in international competition, and they're doing a heck of a job here, particularly Betty Okino, Amy Shearer, going up first and second on every event. It's a tough position to start your team off. It's a lot of pressure. They have to try and set the pace and set that base score as high as possible so that the others can build on it.
At the moment, Betty's waiting her second score, 9.80 on the first. The follow will be Sandy Woolsey, and Kim Zmeskal will be the anchor. Sandy is a Desert Devils, her club, out of Tempe, Arizona. Not a Karolyi product. Now Betty, a Karolyi product, awaits the score, as do we. But come down to those uneven parallel bars. The Americans are doing extremely well. And in the final rotation, the Americans will be on the unevens, and the Soviets, who will go last, will be on the vault.
You're going to hit that now. All right.
When Bella was afraid that because of Kim's injury that she might give away a 10th or 2 because of a little bit of pain in her wrist, he honestly thought Betty would step in there and really take up some of the slack and be one of the leaders of this team. She's doing
This
a
is an
great job.
inordinately long time here, Kathy, for a second vault.
Let's show it.
It's hard to say exactly what the judges are conferring about. The reason it is sometimes quite lengthy, there is a problem with language down there.
Well, she is back up like she's going to take yet another ball.
I have no idea.
No, this will be her second vault. What happened on the first vault, we'll have to wait and try to get from the floor. But it was a long time. She was seated, as you saw, and now she's been told she's got to go again.
The only thing I can think may have happened if she had gone before the green light went on, or if one of the judges inadvertently put the green light on and she went ahead and vaulted and none of the judges were watching. But this is all just guessing from our point of view.
That's her number 302. Bella looking, and Betty waiting.
Those are some of our American judges.
What kind of pressure does that put on? Does that mean anything at all to Betty, the fact that she's just standing there this length of time, or does this just go with the territory?
It's some pressure for her, obviously, but she does have a score in the bank.
Which is 9.80. Bella's walking across to the judges.
She went before the green light.
That's right.
She gets another
She got a 0. She had 2 vaults. Okay, what has happened, and it's what I was afraid of, and this is inexperience with a new competitor in international competition. You must wait till the green light goes on. to perform your vault. If you don't, it's a 0. So I don't know what they're going to do with it.
Well, Bella's walking back up to Betty now with the explanation. Maybe we'll be able to hear.
No. The first was good enough. All right.
Okay.
That's it. The first vault was good enough. The 980 goes into the bank.
It's really sad to see this, and I'll tell you why. The United States lost a bronze medal in Seoul due to a technicality and a rule. And whether the rules, you can say it's a stupid rule or it's not, but it is a rule, and you have to know them, you have to be aware of them, you have to inform the gymnast of the rule.
Oh, now we go back to Sandy Woolsey of the Desert Devils in Tempe, Arizona, and her first vault.
This is something that was always enforced to us. Do not go before the green light.
Woolsey and Zameska will have to do very well if the United States is to stay even with the Soviet Union or fall to second.
Sandy's very capable with this vault. However, her back must have been hurting her throughout the competition. Watching her in the workouts yesterday and in the warm-up today, she just doesn't look as sharp as I've seen her look, say at the trials or at the World Championships. And of course, the recent American Cup. She was much cleaner, much sharper there.
They still have Betty Okino's number, competitor's number, on the scoreboard for the vault. Now, what is going on now, I'm not quite sure, Kathy. But
well, the red light is on, so Sandy knows better. She's not going to go, and she's not going to go until they change the number.
They've just put up the 0 on the second vault for Betty Okino. That's what they were waiting for.
Of course, a hush from the audience, and
because there's been no explanation yet to the audience here.
And there won't be until they go home and watch the taped telecast, and they'll find out. But it's just a rule that all the competitors down on the floor know.
Come on, Sandy.
Pressure on Sandy Woolsey. You can hear her colleagues saying, "Come on, Sandy."
She also performed a Yurchenko with a full twist. I've seen Sandy do that vault better, so I know she can improve on that. She was a little bit short on the horse, meaning too close to the board side of the horse. Makes it a little bit harder to get the proper push off. So if she can get up on top of the horse.
Turn it, but land it. Stay forward and don't let yourself move. That counts now. We've got to have a score here. Let's go now.
Stormy knows the story here. You cannot give away the deduction right here on the landing. It's the last thing the judges see. Here's what I was talking about. She's a little short on the horse. It makes her almost gain her back toward the horse.
And you heard what her coach Stormy said. We need a score here. The Americans desperately want to not only medal, but try to upset the Soviet Union, which is indeed a larger order. 9-6-7-5 for Sandy on her first. Needs to do much better.
In order to try and beat the Soviet Union, you need 9 nines. I've seen Sandy score that on this vault. Good in the air, little bit better on the landing, the slight step right there, but definitely a better vault.
While we're waiting for that score for Kim Zamesko, let's go quickly to Hannah.
I'm here with Karen Wisen, the technical director here of gymnastics. Karen, can you clarify for us again the 0 score of Betty Okino on the vault?
Yes, she went before the red light was off. She must only begin vaulting when the green light goes on. She went during the red light, and the rules say that that is a 0.
And she did have a 9-8 on her first vault, so that will stand?
That will stand.
So all she misses is a chance to improve upon that?
Yes, she misses a chance to improve upon her 9-8.
Thanks, Karen. Again, Betty Okino, a lack of international experience. It was probably a little bit evident on that mistake. Back to Jim.
Thank you, Hannah. And our Kathy Johnson had that in the bank also as we wait for Sandy Woolsey's second mark. The American team hoping it's better than 9-6-7-5. And here comes the score. It's 9-7-6-2. And that'll leave it strictly up to Kim Zamesko to kind of edge it up a little bit. Kim has been, well, with the bursitis and the tendonitis, she has been quite something to see.
Kim is dynamite on this event. She's very capable of a big score here. She does beautiful position at the end of the full twist. She flares open. Right here, opens the arms up. Oh, big step on the landing. She usually sticks that vault. Fortunately, this is the team competition. Competition 1B rules, so the gymnast can perform the same vault again.
Good extension.
Best of the two vaults counts.
And hold it. Calm, because that's gotta be a vault, okay? Okay, calm, go back slow, and come strong again. Now let's see. Don't forget, press your toes down, too.
Good position in the air, beautiful flare out. Pike down too much. Got her feet way too far underneath her and had to take that step backwards. As you listen to Bella give her the final comments going into her second vault, this is when Bella is at his best. He can motivate these kids, get them pumped for competition. And I promise you it's why Mary Lou stuck her vault in 1984, because I'd never seen Mary Lou stick a vault before. And when she needed to, she did.
9.875, but Bella and Kim want better than that.
Fortunately, with a pretty good score, 9.875 on that first vault, she's set herself up for a 9.9 plus if she sticks the vault.
Can't wait for the all-around tomorrow night. It's a team competition, and let's watch Kim. Yeah.
Oh, slight hop. It looked like she had the stick. It actually probably will score a little bit better. A hop is always better than a major step.
Real fast go for that one. Real fast.
Big crowd here tonight watching Kim Zmeskal and teammates try to challenge the USSR.
Will be easier to see from this position. Yeah, lands a little bit too far forward, but it's good to see a gymnast make the proper correction. She had piked down too much on the first one. She tried to lay it out and go for the stick and just had to hop forward.
9.912. Kim Zmeskal does do better. Soviet Union, though, is now in the lead with one rotation to go. 88.848 to 88.735. Back to Larry King.
Thank you, Jim. If you just joined us, our expert commentators tonight ain't bad. They are Nadia Comaneci and Olga Korbut, two great Olympic champions, viewing the goings-on. By the way, a final in basketball. Yugoslavia beats the Soviet Union 84-78. Yugoslavia advances to the final gold medal round Sunday. The United States plays Brazil shortly. You'll see that game. The winner plays Yugoslavia. What do you think of the... You were remarking, Nadia, as she went up, that the landing here is very important. What we're going to see when the feet hit, right? Now, you said that would be a 9.9. Why?
I said, yeah, 9.9 or 9.875, because she made a little mistake at the end.
You're supposed to land perfect?
Yes.
How can you not move your foot when you land?
If you do technical correct, the vault,
your feet, you'll land perfect?
Yes, you will land perfect.
Do you agree? You got to land perfect?
Конечно, доскок должен быть обязателен. И здесь ее оценка 9,9.
Well, yes, you must step in a very proper manner, but I thought that would be 9.9 as well.
Но прыжок сам по себе был выполнен очень чистенько.
But the jump itself was very clean.
I'm going to ask you in a moment how well they judge the judges judging, whether they guess well for themselves. When we come back, we're going to see more of U.S. gymnast Kim Zmeskal of Houston, Texas. There you see Kim before all this twisting and flipping started. Kim now is age 14. We'll be back with the 1990 Goodwill Games from Seattle. I'm Larry King with Hannah Storm and Nick Charles. Stay right there. Out to the Tacoma Dome and Jim Simpson. Jim?
All right, Larry, we are now into the final rotation, of course. At the end of 3 rotations, you can see that the Soviet Union, which trailed at the end of 2 rotations, now leads. And here's Amy Scherer, and the United States is now on the uneven parallel bars.
And I said earlier, Amy has really done a terrific job being the lead-off batter for the Americans on each event. It's a nice ginger. Giant swing, front giant to a back giant, and a pike double back dismount. She had one major release move in there. Many of the top gymnasts are now doing 2 and 3. didn't have anything spectacular necessary in the event, but very, very strong, very clean, good start-off routine for the Americans. There's her release move. It's called a Ginger. Made famous by Eberhard Ginger, a West German male gymnast who invented the move. A front giant, right into a back giant. Here's her dismount. Pike. Oh, front giant. Back giant. Here's her dismount. A piked double back dismount. Nice height. You can see it's level with the high bar. One of the things the judges are trying to look for. All the releases should be caught level with the high bar, and the dismounts should be done at the level of the high bar as well. They're looking for that amplitude.
9-8-0. And while the Americans try to get the gold or the silver, the Chinese are on the floor in the floor exercises trying to challenge for the silver as well. Now Kim Zmeskal, and she is so good in so many events, but Kathy, you point out this is not her best.
This is definitely Kim's weakest event, but it's far from a bad event for Kim. I have seen her have a little bit of trouble with the release moves in some competitions. So we'll take a look at them here. Here's her first one. Front giant, sets it up to a Jaeger front. Perfect position to catch the bar. Not as high as the other release moves that we've seen. Second release move, reverse hecht. Again, she has just
How about that?
Good landing. Beautiful dismount. But as I was saying, on those release moves, she just has ample height.
Bursitis in the heel. Tendonitis in the wrist.
That you have to break your hand to go to the heel, huh? I know. Good job.
Here we say it is not her best event, and it is not, but look at what she's done.
Here's that first release move. She does a Jaeger front and a perfect regrasp. Really, all that she would need to improve this is to try and get the amplitude on those release moves. She has enough difficulty. Here's her second release move. It's called a reverse hecht or Tkachev. And the judges are looking for the regrasp to occur with the shoulders level with the bar, so that the gymnast gets credit for that difficulty. But the dismount was extraordinary. Beautiful position in the air, and of course, what a landing.
While we wait for, well, here comes the score now. 9-9-1-2. 9-9-1-2 for Kim Zmeskal. The team gold, silver, and bronze are still up for grab, but don't forget that all around tomorrow night. Come back, we'll see how this turns out in a moment. Back to Larry King.
And just for your information, Nadia and Olga both gave Kim a 10 on that last performance. Okay, folks, big basketball game coming up. The Brazilians and the offensive machine. Larry with Olga and Nadia were all old friends. By the way, ice hockey starts tomorrow, so too boxing tomorrow afternoon. We're at the International Broadcast Center, our continuing coverage of the 1990 Goodwill Games. We're in beautiful Seattle. The women's gymnastic competition is down the road a piece in Tacoma. Let's check in there now with Jim Simpson. Jim?
All right, Larry, and Betty Okino has just turned in a 9-9-3-7 as the third American competitor on the uneven parallel bars, and Sandy Woolsey followed up with a 9-9-0. Now let's go back in time to China, also in the race for the silver. This is Li Li, 15 years old, out of Guangdong province, on tape on the floor.
And she had a fall on her first tumbling pass, a full twisting double back. China, just like the Soviet Union, is very beautiful on the floor exercise, very clean movement. They're not as strong in the tumbling, just not as powerful. Whip back, Budo double twist. They lack very much in the same difficulty. I spoke to the Chinese coaches. They sent 3 of their top juniors, so this is China's future right here. They're really hoping to groom them for 1992 in Barcelona. And what better place to do it than the Goodwill Games 2 years before the start of the Olympic Games. Finishes with a double bat. Good landing. As you can see, as I said, they just don't have the same power or difficulty in their tumbling.
And that is their final floor exercise, and one of the reasons why the United States seems almost a cinch to take at least a silver. And moments ago, we told you Sandy Woolsey also had a good performance on the unevens, and here is that performance.
Americans really did well on the uneven bars, and Sandy is one of the best on this event. Nice high reverse hecht. Prepares for her dismount sequence. A half in, half out. It's a full twisting double back flyaway. One of the most difficult dismounts done on the uneven bars now, and done so well. Boy, that put a smile on her face. She's had a little bit of trouble on some of the other events. I think her back's been bothering her some, but what a way to finish for her.
She was first in the national championships, and she turned in a 9-9.
That was a good fight. Great team effort. Great team effort.
While we await the replay, in the vault, the Soviet Union, their final rotation will need 9.8786 to tie and about a 9.9 average to beat the United States. That's ballpark figures.
Here's that big release move. Nicely done by Sandy. Showing the requirements, moving from bar to bar. And her dismount, as I said, one of the most difficult done today. Used to only be done by the men off the high bar. A full twisting double back dismount, just that one step on the landing.
Well, the Soviets are up in their final rotation. They've got to average 9.8786 to tie the USA, 9.9 to win it. We'll see when we come back. Here's Larry.
Thanks, Jim. We're going to make a hop, skip, and a jump out to Houston. And there we are again with our young ladies at Bella Caroli's gym, and their coach is James Holmes. How's the action gone, in your opinion, so far, Jim?
Oh, the Americans are doing very well. All the girls are hitting their routines and showing good, strong, competitive spirit. And
Kim's performance with the injury?
Oh, she's done great, outstanding. You know, more than you can ask from Kim, you know, to come in without 100% preparation, having an injury, and mentally coming in and leading the team, you know, with the most dynamic routines and getting the highest scores for the team.
Thank you all very much. Continued success, James.
Oh, thank you, and the kids appreciate your support in the Goodwill Games.
Our pleasure. Say goodbye, kids.
Say goodbye, children.
Bye. Bye, guys. Future Nadias and Olgas. We're following women's gymnastics, and right now,
the United States has done its work for the evening. Their competition in the team championships is over. Now it's up to the Soviets to win the gold or fall back to the silver. And one of the American stars, Kim Zmeskal, is with our Hannah Storm.
Thanks, Jim. Here with Kim Zmeskal, the best all-around performer for the United States. First, Kim, we were all worried about your wrist. Were you worried about it? How does it feel right now?
Well, the doctor told me that, you know, it can't get any worse. It's not dangerous to go and compete. It'll still have pain, but, you know, there's no risk, really.
Did it hurt while you were competing? Did you think about that at all?
Well, it hurt a little bit, but once I got out there, it's like that was the last thing that I was thinking about.
I know that you beat Kalinina earlier this year. Did that give you any sort of confidence against the Soviets, or do you even think about them when you're out there?
Well, you can't really think about, you know, the other performers there because they're not going to have anything to do with your scores and you don't have anything to do with theirs.
What about being here in Seattle? This is a terrific crowd. Does it really pump you up when you're out there?
Yeah, I really like the crowd. I think it's easier to compete when there's a whole bunch of people behind you.
What about your individual performance tonight? Where were you the happiest with?
My bars, definitely. That's been my weakest event, and I just went in. I didn't have very much time to think about it since I came right from the vault, and that's the one I was happiest with.
Terrific. We'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow, Kim. Thanks. Jim?
All right, Hannah, and Tatiana Lysenko has already had her first vault, and it is a very good vault. 9.912, better than the average that the Soviet needs to turn in to retain the gold that it won in 1986. And this is Lysenko, and this will be her second vault. But she's already got that 9.912 in the bank.
Soviets are also very strong in this event. Does a Yurchenko laid out with a full twist, and boy, you can hardly do it any better than that. Beautiful position in the air, legs perfectly straight, perfectly together.
Perhaps an even better score than the 9-9-1-2 she got on the first vault. Young Soviet women following in the footsteps, or maybe even showing the way to the Soviet men. They are so good.
This is trademark Soviet style. Perfect form, perfect landing. She has an unusual arm swing on that hurdle, but it doesn't hurt her at all.
From down on the Ukraine, Tanya Lysenko, 15 years old, and
9.962.
That's even better. So they're already ahead of the average they must need to retain the gold.
I wonder if the Soviets could have predicted that it would come down to vault, because I was very surprised at the girls they selected to go ahead and compete here at the Goodwill Games, but the ones that they chose not to use were having problems on vault. So they probably made a good choice.
Natalia Kalinina.
Another Yurchenko full. Slight little stumble step there at the landing. Now she also performs this vault with a double twist. I don't know if she's going to perform that here for her second vault. My guess is she will try and improve on the full twist and go for the stuck landing rather than the more difficult vault.
China has already completed its rotation tonight. They were going for the bronze, remember, and they still have an outside chance for, nope, I think they're going to wind up with the bronze. The question really is the gold and the silver.
And see, Jim, that is really good for the Americans. They have not beaten the Chinese lately. They were fourth to them at the recent World Championships in Stuttgart. So that's a tremendous accomplishment here at the Goodwill Games.
Lenina, her second ball.
Oh!
They just get better.
Just when I think you can't improve on the vault, they improve on the vault. It's absolutely beautiful. And boy, that put a smile on her face. It's usually business as usual for the Soviets, but she even liked that. Look at the form in the air. Toes pointed, and just drops it in for a great landing.
One more 9-9 by either Chuvasitna or Boginskaya, and the Soviets will have wrapped up the gold.
It's one thing the Soviets are very good at. When they need the big scores, they can come up with them.
9-9-6-2 for Kalinina. Well, this is what they needed to do, and we knew they could do it. Here's Oksana Chusovitana, excuse me.
For many of the other teams, 9-9s are the exceptions. The Soviets, it's usually the rule. Handspring front pike with a half twist, a dynamite vault.
Chusovitana just follows in the footsteps of Kalinina and Lysenko on the vault.
She is one of the more powerful Soviets on the team at this time. Good block off the horse, nice position. Fighting for those landings. They obviously know what it's going to take to win the gold here. This is a beautiful vault. Very difficult and very nicely done.
Soviets won all the gold medals in the 1986 Goodwill Games. And Chusovitana has done her share. She is awaiting her score, and should she get better than a 9.712, she has tied the United States, meaning the Soviet team has tied the United States. If she gets that 9.9, nope, 9.875, and you can almost put that gold right back where everybody thought it would belong at the end of the evening, on the Soviet team's shoulders.
To show you how far both men's and women's gymnastics has come in the United States, at the '86 Goodwill Games, only one gymnast won a medal. It was a bronze medal, Joyce Wilburn on the vault. And now look at all the medals already won by our men's team.
They always do better with their encore. Chusovitana has an outstanding second vault, and that just about wraps up everything for the Soviet Union tonight. And that's something to say. That about wraps it up when you've got the world champion as the anchor, and she's not even needed, Bogunskaya.
What can you say? I wish I had a nickel for every time I said perfect in this broadcast, but so many of these routines and these skills were done so near perfect. You can always find flaws when we look at it in slow motion, but this is as close as it gets, people. Nice push off the horse. Keep in mind, she's doing a very difficult vault.
Awaiting her score, and next up is Svetlana Bogunskaya, the world champion who won the golds in every single event of the European Championships this year. But she fell tonight in her first rotation, the uneven parallel bars, and so it is probable we will not see her tomorrow night. Almost sure thing, because she will not have qualified for the all-around 9.987. Chusovitana turns in a 9.987, the best vault of the evening. And here comes the anchor, just to show you what the Soviets can do. Here she is, the world champion, Svetlana Bogunskaya.
A beautiful gymnast, very poised, very experienced. Also the Olympic champion on this event. Does Yurchenko with a full twist.
Up.
Tiny step on the landing. I never even saw her do that in workout. She was working on a different vault, the same one Chusovitana just performed. She has nice position from the board to the horse. Good position in the air, going for that stuck landing. Boy, it sure looks like that right ankle is very tender. She has it heavily wrapped. I saw it in the workout area. And it sure looked like she was favoring that on the landing. Looked a little bit painful.
The gold belongs to the Soviet Union. The silver, the USA, as the men did. China finishes third. And here's the final vault in the final event of the evening for the winning Soviet team. The world champion. 9.912 for her first vault.
And even though Svetlana won't qualify into the all-around finals, we will definitely see her again on Sunday in the event finals. Performing the same vault. Going for that stick. Oh! Slide hop on the landing.
It is all academic because the Soviets have won the gold, Kathy, and while we await the score, you're very happy that the USA has defeated China because it's the first time they've done that lately.
Exactly. Tremendous boost for USA Gymnastics because the Chinese have a very strong program, and to beat them this close to the Olympic Games 2 years away.
But the standard is still set by the USSR. They are the winners of the gold again. Hannah Storm.
When we come back, we'll have another visit with the Voyager. We'll have our remaining moments with Nadia and Olga, and of course, men's basketball. The United States, do or die. They beat Brazil. They play for the gold medal. They don't. Their history. Also, Steve Largent. Where's he going to be? Weightlifter.